Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. Bold and the beautiful sees Taylor Hayes' health has left us on the edge of our seats, but I can't help but feel skeptical about where this plot is headed. With Thomas Forrester returning home, I worry that he might be dragged into this sketchy situation in a very bad way. Could we be looking at a tragedy where Taylor dies, or maybe no one dies, or someone else dies instead? Let's dive in and explore the possibilities. On Bold and the beautiful Taylor Hayes, Rebecca Budig needs an expert. She confided in Lee Finnegan, Naomi Matsuda, about feeling tired and off during her workouts. She revealed that her primary care doctor had diagnosed her with heart failure and given her a grim prognosis. When Lee asked if she had seen a cardiologist, Taylor admitted she hadn't. This raises a red flag. Since when does a general practice doctor deliver a death sentence without referring the patient to a specialist? Yes, Taylor is a medical doctor herself, but she's a psychiatrist, not a cardiologist. Lee offered to send her some referrals. So, I imagine Taylor's outlook might improve once she consults with an expert. Bold and beautiful fans consider Brad Bell may recycle an old plot or sacrifice a character ahead. Now that we're in the midst of this life or death storyline, could he be planning something even worse than killing off Taylor? Like sacrificing another character to save her? Remember when Katie Logan, Heather Tom, needed a heart transplant? Her brother shot himself at the hospital so she could have his heart. I don't see anyone going to such extremes for Taylor. But could Brad be considering killing off Thomas to give Taylor a chance at life? Thomas has been off-screen for so long, and fans keep asking about his whereabouts and Matthew Atkinson's status with the show. Bold and the beautiful spoilers haven't given much to go on. Could Brad be tired of those questions and quietly writing Thomas out, as he did with Wyatt Spencer, Darren Brooks, and Quinn Fuller, Raina Sofa? Or maybe Thomas is destined to die, donating his heart to his mother in a tragic twist of fate. Another possibility is a redo of Brooke Logan, Catherine Kelly Lang, and Stephanie Forrester's Susan Flannery emotional death scene. Brooke recently expressed a desire for a genuine friendship with Taylor, echoing the moment when Stephanie, who had always been at odds with Brooke, died in her arms. Many fans are worried that Brad is steering us in that direction, and it's not a popular idea. Then there's the frustrating Eric is dying storyline from not too long ago. Suddenly, after surgery by Finn and Bridget Forrester, Ashley Jones, Eric was cured, no chemo, no hair loss, just back to martinis and marrying Donna. Could Brad be attempting another fake-out twist with Taylor's story? Thomas Forrester had spent years trying to claw his way out from the shadow of his mistakes. He'd been manipulative, obsessive, and sometimes unstable. But he was also fiercely loyal and driven by love, even when it twisted into something dark. But in recent months, he'd seemed different, calmer, more grounded. He was repairing bridges, building a better relationship with Hope, and being a strong father to Douglas. Even Ridge had started to believe that maybe, just maybe, Thomas had turned the corner. But none of it mattered the night his car skidded off Mulholland Drive. They said he swerved to avoid a deer. The paramedics found him unconscious, his car wrapped around a tree like a crumpled soda can. At the hospital, they fought to save him, but the damage was catastrophic. He was declared brain dead at 2:07 a.m. The Forrester family was shattered. Ridge collapsed into Brooke's arms, gasping for breath. Steffi screamed and sobbed in disbelief, her knees buckling. Hope stood frozen, tears pouring down her cheeks. Even Liam, who'd never fully trusted Thomas, was struck speechless. What no one knew, not even Ridge, was that Taylor had been hiding something. Something big. For the past year, Taylor had been quietly battling a rare and aggressive heart condition. She hadn't told her children. She hadn't told Ridge. She didn't want anyone to treat her like she was fragile. She wanted to live on her terms. Her condition had worsened rapidly. Her cardiologist had delivered the crushing news only 2 weeks earlier. Without a transplant, you won't see the end of the year. She had smiled politely, nodded. Then she'd gone home and poured herself a glass of wine, staring out the window with a hollow heart, literally and figuratively. And then came the crash. As Thomas lay motionless in the hospital bed, hooked to machines, Taylor stood at his side. The son. Her baby. Their firstborn. She ran trembling fingers through his hair, whispered his name, begged him to open his eyes. Ridge made the gut-wrenching decision. Thomas had been an organ donor. His heart was healthy, strong, beating with the fierce passion he'd always carried. At first she refused. How could she live with herself? How could she take the heart from her own son? But then Ridge held her, looked into her eyes, and said, "Thomas would want you to live. He'd want his heart to stay in the family. You know that." The hospital became a haunting symphony of grief and hope. While one operating room mourned the loss of Thomas Forrester, another fought to keep Taylor Hayes alive. Steffi sat in the waiting room, torn between horror and gratitude. "I'm losing my brother," she whispered to Finn, "but I'm getting to keep my mom." Hope held Douglas, trying to explain what death meant, how his daddy was a hero even in the end. And Ridge sat alone in the hallway, staring at the floor, feeling like his heart had been ripped out of his chest, only to be stitched into the woman he had loved for half his life. Her body accepted the transplant. Physically, she was stronger than she'd been in months. But emotionally, that was a different story. At night, she'd wake up gasping, hand clutching her chest. She swore she could hear it. His heartbeat. Thomas's heartbeat. She started to remember things. Flashes of conversations she never had, dreams that felt too real, memories that weren't hers. She began painting again, obsessively, vivid portraits of eyes that looked like hopes, of forests and cliffs, and sketches of a little boy's smile. "Is it possible," she asked Steffi one night, "that a part of him is still with me?" Ridge, meanwhile, found himself drawn to Taylor again, helplessly and irrationally. The way she spoke, the way she moved, sometimes she reminded him of Thomas. And sometimes, when he looked in her eyes, he saw both the woman he once loved and the son he'd lost. Hope struggled too. Every time she saw Taylor, she couldn't help but think of Thomas. It haunted her, moved her, inspired her, and in her grief, she started writing again. Journals, poetry, even a tribute collection for the next hope for the future line titled Heartlines. Taylor began to live again, not just exist. She traveled, laughed, even danced. She took up mentorship roles at the hospital, started a grief support group for parents who'd lost children. She dedicated a wing in Thomas's name. She became bolder, more impulsive, less apologetic. She pursued a new vision of life, one filled with risk and passion and creativity. Just like Thomas once had. She wasn't trying to replace him. And every thump was a reminder, life is fragile. Love is fierce. And sometimes, the most painful endings lead to the most unexpected beginnings.